Right, hello, and I'm back. I have another video, and this time we're going to be looking at one of the newer characters, Nemesis. I mean, it's going to be versing. You can see how he plays against, in comparison to another killer that'd be close. That'd be Executioner. But first, his perks. So barbecue and chili was the first one there, and then I had Franklin's Demise. Because of items, I was getting a lot of trouble with items. Franklin's Demise means that they drop an item. Pop goes the Weasel to cause gen regression and save the best for last. Because he's going to M1 so much and use his basic attack so much. It just helps to be able to speed it up. And we've got T-Virus Sample and Marvin's Blood. These increase his mutation rate, how quickly he gets it. So let's just quickly let's look at that for a second. So there's Nemesis, and I'll just talk about this stance for a moment. That is just, I don't know that I like the way he actually, I mean you can't see him anyway, but of all the stances from this point field of view, I've got to say this one feels like one of the worst, and he feels tremendously slow. So there's a gem being worked on. We're just going to give her a punch, and then as we come to his power we'll start talking about it. So she trying to dupe me there a bit, to be fair to her. But she's ran this way, I can see where she's going. Up there. Down. She'd have been better to look for a vault opportunity. May have been one. First gen's gone. She's just carrying on running. She's not hanging around the pallet. And she's down. Nemesis is just going to grab her, stick her under his arm, find a hook. So, we've got the zombies in the match. You can see a zombie right there. What's a zombie going to do? Well, the zombie just helps with his contamination power. So, the way his power works is he's got his tentacle strike and he's got the zombies. And they cause contamination. Now, I can hit these, and that'll give me a bit of my power. To get me to mutation. Why do you want mutation? Because at tier 2 mutation you can break pallets. Oh, I missed with a punch. But he's going to go for the window. So now he's contaminated. But I have an issue there because that speed boost he just got from that, and he's not injured. Now he's injured. Now he's injured, and I'm at tier 2, I believe. I heard some crying there. But I lost the Dwight or Jake. Maybe it was a Jake. She's still on the hook. 2 gens left, it's looking good. 1 hook, 2 gens. It's not looking good for me at all. But we caught back up with our Jake friend. And I've just had enough distance there to get. She gets extended reach out of it. But the fact is, I've had to hit him 3 times. Not twice, 3 times. And he's got a speed boost 3 times. And that'll be the case for every character. And it can cure that infection as well. It can cure that infection. There are cases of samples, T-virus, vaccine samples. Oh, he's duking me a bit. So, you can see that sometimes it doesn't always feel worth actually using his power. Now, we're going to go back for her. One of the reasons being, I got caught on the head there. One of the reasons being is because the letter gets to stage 2, so if she gets hooked now, she's out of the game. So that's that. Barbecue and chilies told us there's somebody over there. We're going to put some pop on that. Pop goes the weasel on that. But ultimately, he just feels, aside from his zombies, and I think one does actually do a bit of work. I saw the blood. Come on, Dwight. So aside from the zombies, which they're very hit and miss, his power doesn't seem to do a lot. Does he get a lot out of it? Well, the zombies can help with some tracking. Sometimes if you see a zombie with their arms reached out in the distance, it's because there was someone near them. So there, look. Someone's over there. The zombie's telling me that someone's over there. You can see, you even saw him then. So that can be helpful. He has a little bit of tracking. He has a little bit of slowdown if they choose to heal from their contamination, which they don't need to do. By the way, they can heal normally. They can be uninjured but contaminated, and the only risk to them is that the tentacle strike or a random zombie will get them. And I actually don't think I ever get to tier 3. So what's tier 3? Well, tier 3 is basically an extra meter on the reach of his tentacle strike. But I have to say, I think that he's kind of a weak killer, in my honest opinion, because he plays the loops exactly. He can hit over low loops with his tentacle strike. He can do that, but ultimately, I don't think it's going to do all that much. But these guys are just, they're W gamers. They're just running forward gamers. They're not really playing around any loops, if you know what I mean by that. They're not like that. That could potentially be a really strong area to play around, and they're not doing that. Well, he's a bit there. Look, he did there. He went back on himself. Oh, I got bloody stuck again. That was lucky. That not so much. It's funny that he's just punching everybody in the back of the head though. Right, I'm just going to give him a bop. I don't know what he thinks he's trying to do. Ah, scratch marks. David. And there you go, the zombie contaminated him. So he's susceptible to actually being injured by the tentacle strike now. But it's not always the easiest thing to land. Doesn't have a particularly massive hitbox. And so you can see, sometimes it's just easier and more efficient to use your basic attack. And if you think, well, he can't use the window again. That was one of the cases. Now that's tier 3. That's tier 3, so that's the extended reach on the tentacle strike. but I just cannot help but feel that it could be better. And you just saw that the tier 2 and tier 3, the tentacle strike can break pallets and walls, and the screenshotting just had me losing. I'm going to kick that. The zombie kind of did help me get that hit because he couldn't loop around. The zombie was on the other side, but that's just so random. Like you can't really count on that. That was a dead hard. We're back at the pallet, at the shack. So I don't know what to think about him. I really don't. Some people are going to say he's really good. I don't know that he is. I don't know that he is, because this is just normal. Most of this is normal Dead by Daylight gameplay. The zombies can be useful, but it's very random. The tentacle strike gives a speed boost when it's contaminating them, which I think is not great at all. If it didn't give them a speed boost, it wouldn't be as bad, but the fact is it does. That was a dead hard. I keep losing the guy, but he's down now. There's zigzaggy movements. So I don't know. Some of them say he's really good. I don't get that feeling actually, because there's characters that do similar things and they have either better utility in other ways, not just the executioner or pyramid head, but like the plague, she could cause an infection, and her infection is just 100 times better than what Nemesis is working with. There's characters that have like things like cases or alarm clocks that wake you up, or the pig and air boxes to get the trap off your head. That's kind of something else for the survivors to do, kind of a utility that wastes a bit of time, but theirs is fundamentally again far better than what he's working with. So let's look at Pyramid Head then. Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, rival to Resident Evil, makes perfect sense, and they have power utilities that are similar. So we're running barbecue and chili again for all we're reading. We've got Sloppy Butcher on. Sloppy Butcher increases the bleeding frequency and causes mangled. Mangled makes it so you take more time to heal. Save the Best for Last will increase for each hit on a survivor that isn't my obsession. I'll get a quicker cooldown on my basic attack. And Pop Goes the Weasel. Is that? No, Eruption. Eruption is a Nemesis perk that when I kick a gen, it's highlighted in yellow. If I down someone while it's highlighted in yellow, there'll be 8% regression on it. It lingers on every gen that you kick. And then I've just got two very basic common add-ons and a nice cake. So now let's look at this gameplay. Now I'm not going to use, in fact I think I only actually use his attack, which is similar to Nemesis's one time, but he does have a different kind of a utility, which is this Trails of Torment. Now you can't see that right there, but while he walks like that, he's leaving a trail behind him that's identified to you as white. And it lasts about 30 seconds, and anybody that runs through it becomes tormented. Now it's a bit like Freddy not wanting to be asleep. That's some sprint burst, that is. So there you go, now he's run through it, he's gone right there. Missed the attack, but it don't really matter. He's tormented. You can see the icon on the left hand side of the screen around his face. He's gone through it again, but he didn't make it that time. And I'm sticking mostly with M1 attacks again, simply because his other attack, which again is like Nemesis, it's hard to land. So I can follow his blood up here. There he goes. I don't know if I'm going to get him here, because he's actually brought me to all these survivors working on this gen. So I'm going to apply some eruption to that. This is no good. I'm going back because I know I'm going to want to get back on that gen. Yeah, going to want to leave that like that. So I'm going back. So I'm going to hit him. I'm going to kick it again because I've worked on it. That was silly of me. I've got him. And I got the UE, I think. Is that UE or thing? So everybody's injured now. That suits me, and one of them's tormented. That ain't bad. So now I just need to find somebody else. And down. And you saw the explosion. So that explosion was eruption kicking off. So we'll hook this guy. Here's the thing. If he was tormented, I wouldn't have to even bother hooking him. And this is an amazing utility to his power that's unique to Pyramid Head. He can actually negate so much. If they run and run through those trails and get tormented, he can negate so much potential gameplay and problems and pitfalls that killers generally have. So, and you'll see what I mean, because Pyramid Head has his Cage of Atonements and his Last Rites as powers. Now I'm going to put him here because I kind of want to, if I can, seal this gen off. But I don't think I've done that right. Yeah, I will eventually use his attack power. I think I only use it once. So we've got her off the hook. Is it here? Let's get him. So they seem to like this loop. Strong area. And there it was. So you didn't see it, but basically that goes through the ground, through the walls. So instantly, in a way, it's already better than Nemesis, because Nemesis doesn't go through walls. Nemesis can go over objects, it can go over small walls, small tables, pallets, and it'll prioritise survivors over pallets. Barbecue's just showed me there's somebody on that gen, but I also heard some running around there. So I'm going to go for the running. She's down, but she's not infected. Now he runs away, that kind of stresses me out. I'm going to put her down because I was going to put her on the hook that Bill's on. That was a terrible play by him. So just pull him right off. And we'll hook him. And now we've got him off. But this is all, again, to be fair, a lot of this is just basic play. I could see someone running for that. Now there it was. That was the attack, but it's in a straight line and it completely missed. But what it can do is, now she's in torment. Got killer instinct on her, and we're gonna cage of atonement. I don't know where they've gone, but they're in a special cage. Again, he ran through the puddle. Cage of atonement. Why is that important? If you can get that. Well, for one, if they've got a flashlight, they're not blinding you with it. It does nothing. They can't stun you with a flashlight to make the save. Number two, he's not wasting time picking survivors up and potentially having them fall off his arms. It can shut down loops like that. Well, it's not shutting them down, but he's putting additional risk to the loop. A lot of the time, survivors, if you put those trails of torment down, survivors will. Don't know why they run then. I got trails of torment on him. I did at the beginning. I don't know. Now the only flip side to that is, if you're running something like barbecue or any kind of power that requires hooks or has a hook element to it, if you use the cage of atonement, then you don't get the perk benefit. So the 25% stackable bonus for getting everybody on a hook in your blood points from barbecue and chili, you won't get that if you use a cage. Similarly, you wouldn't get the pop goes the weasel 25% gen regression. So he's off. Now I want the Adam, and the reason I want the Adam is because Adam is tormented. And because Adam's tormented, I can use last rites on Adam, which is basically the only Mori of its kind. It's you know, he easily avoided that. No, let's not play this game. Too late. So what is last rites? That's last rites. So again, I wasted time picking him up. I potentially took a blind. As long as you can do that if they're tormented and they're on their last hook. They've reached the second stage. So on their last hook, then you can go straight for last rites if they're tormented. So ultimately, it seems to me that his power, and don't forget he's got that distance attack, which you can make that longer. So he's got a distance attack like Nemesis. He can then kind of make loops more awkward. So she's just got herself, by trying to run beside me for whatever reason, she's now tormented. So if she happens to be on a stage 2 hook, then technically I can last rites her. Yes, I can. Thanks, Bill, for letting me know exactly where he was. I don't know what he was trying to do there, but it did work. And Bill's down. Bill ain't tormented, so we've got to play the game normally with Bill. You don't get a cage of atonement or a last rites. And then you compare all of this utility And I'm not saying he's easy to use, especially his attack. He's along the ground attack, because it's the arc of it and the hitbox of it. It's not particularly big. Yes, it can go through walls. It can do all that, but you need the right aura reading ability to make use of it. And I think they've still got a lot of time to get out of the way. They have a bit of a chase now. Yeah, this guy puts up a bit of a good chase. But I heard him to my right. Ever so slightly, I just heard his footsteps to my right, so I knew he'd gone anyway. So I'm going to try and shut this loop down again. Keep him away from this. And that's the more important thing. Now I lose him a bit, but I've found him. Nice dupe. Now this is where I should be using his power, to be fair. So he's dropped that. This is actually a fairly safe pallet. And this is how good survivors will play pallets. Now I'm going to try and shut it down and see he's ran away from it, see. Because he didn't want the torment. To be fair, at this point in the game I don't think it makes much difference. That I've got to break. But these are the kind of things that made old Freddy, or even like any kind of M1 killer that relies on a basic attack, that kind of looping is what shuts them all down. There's not a lot a killer that relies on his basic attack can do if he doesn't have some kind of utility chase or around loops, so called slowdowns. Like the new Freddy, he had the slowdowns and stuff. You ain't got your sprint burst now, mate, you used it. But it's just pretty come back now. And there we go. So ultimately I have to say, and I don't want to, but I have to say I think the Executioner is the better character. Is he easy to use? Not necessarily. Are you always going to get the 4K? Not always. Can he be looped? Yes. But he does have an attack to work around pallets if you're good enough with it. He does have his last rites, his Trials of Torment. He has a lot of utility in terms of being able to just say it's even the saving of 10 or 15 seconds of picking someone up and hooking them. Even that is massive. That is massive. If you've got a gen that you know is being worked on, and you can just instantly just hold R1 and send someone to a cage and not have to bother picking them up, and then head straight to that gen. That alone is pretty powerful, to be fair, because the main thing that killers need is time, and it can potentially save a lot of time, whereas Nemesis he actually wastes a lot of his own time, because he either just plays the game as an M1 killer and just punches everybody, or he goes for the tentacle strike, which frankly, to be fair, often he's going to miss. Anyway, I'm glad you stayed with me for that video.